Starting fast, we're on the road, so jumping out, 10-0. Special teams, a guy like Bryce Oliver, who not only scores touchdowns for you, but goes out on a pump block and can get a pump block, the blocking of our receivers. There's a lot of good things. Managing the clock at the end of half, knowing they get the ball in the second half, the adjustments at halftime to get pressure on the court. There's a lot of good, and sometimes we always just focus on, what needs to get cleaned up. But our kids played hard, and Alex said it right. We got to manage the highs and lows. And when we talk about complementary football, it's we jump out 10-0. When they start scoring points, that's when our offense, who had a lot of points and a lot of first downs, but there was 2 times in the second quarter we had 2 3-and-outs and 1 was an INT. That allowed them to get on a roll like that. Now we regathered ourselves, got 3 points there before half. And then the second half. Defensively, we don't get it on fourth down. Guess what? This team goes for fourth down more than anybody. But you don't get it. Guess what the expectation is? Get a 3-and-out, let them punt the ball. We got the ball at the 50-yard line. So those are the things that we got to constantly keep learning from, because those things will keep reappearing. Those highs and lows. 10-0, and then down. They score 20. We got to stay. The emotions part of it, that we got to stay even keel and put the gas on the pedal and play for 4 quarters.
I know it's the next game, but how important is this game, at home, not to go down, 0-2?
It's more about us. It gives us a week to, sometimes you learn from a loss. You win and you might still make those same mistakes week in and week out. The attention to detail. The focus, the breakdowns. They had 60 yards rushing on 2 carries. I don't know what their total was after sacks, but, those were breakdowns, of losing focus and the attention to detail. We can talk about the attention to detail until I'm blue in the face, but until you get nipped by it and realize, we went to a place where we had a chance to come home with a victory, and we didn't, and we reevaluate ourselves in the areas that we need to get better. And those are the things we got to focus on. We can talk all we want about Southern L. I think they're a great program, great team, 5th-ranked team, great run defense, but we got to fix us. So this gives us an opportunity this week to get back to the practice field, make those corrections, develop a plan to win for Saturday, and go out and play football at 6 o'clock.
When you score 41 points and you're Bryce Oliver and you're saying, man, we left 14 to 15 on the board, how encouraging is that? And then is that what you need to have, in order to compete in this league, to be able to score at that rate?
No, you shouldn't. Our defense, we don't want to give up 24 points. So very uncharacteristic. We got to stop the run, but we also got to do better in pass coverage. And I'm sure they're saying the same thing. Anytime you have 300 yards passing, it's coverage. It's a lot of communications, a lot of attention to detail, a lot of focus that goes into that needs to be cleaned up. But for us, offensively, we needed to run the football better. We didn't get that opportunity. It didn't turn into that type of game when you get down 20-10, but we got to run the football better, because that's part of who we are. That's part of our DNA, that we have to establish a run game.
You faced a top quarterback in this past weekend, and have another quarterback for a similar type of performance in the passing yards. What's your kind of thoughts on just where the pass defense is right now, and what kind of the situation that personnel is?
It's personnel, I feel great. Our kids go out every day and practice against our quarterback and our receivers every day. Iron sharpens iron. So to be able to take, practice execution to become game reality, we got to look at what we're doing in our communication to make sure everybody's on the same page. And it's like anything else. You got to have all the arrows pointing in the same direction. If one arrow is pointing upwards, it could be a big play. So it's about us getting realigned there. And it starts with us as coaches. And as coaches, that's why we coach, to make sure we're aligned and that, we can limit the explosives. There's going to be big plays in the game. When big plays happen, I don't want to see our kids tank it, get their heads down. Those are the things with adversity. And you try to emulate it. I told you, we control the game. Nobody else. We don't get on fourth down. I see air coming. No, rise up, get a stop. And I told him today, I didn't go off on the officials. Those 3 first down plays, those were illegal formations and illegal shifts. Found that out from the office today, and they're going to use it in video to teach the officials to be on the same page. Knew it would come back in the game at critical times. But guys, that didn't win or lose us a football game. Officials are going to make mistakes. We're going to make mistakes. You got to be able to handle the highs and lows and continue to stay focused on the task at hand, and that's executing offense, defense, and special teams every play.
Obviously, Southern Illinois is playing pretty good, undefeated.
Yeah.
4 games.
Mm-hmm.
Fifth in the country, you mentioned it. So how good are they?
Really, I mean, offensively, they got their O-line back. They got their quarterback back. They got healthy running back. They brought in another running back. They maybe went in the portal to get a few receivers. And offensively, they do a lot of misdirection, a lot of different things that they do that you got to be disciplined. You got to be focused, or they're going to expose you real quick. Defensively, they switched. The team that we played November 18th, it's not the same defense. They got familiar faces. They probably have 4 or 5 guys that played in that game, but they went out and really got 2 of the best players at Eastern Illinois, who's now their defensive tackle, who's now one of their linebackers. They got an outside backer that came from Pitt. They got corners. They got safeties that they brought in transfers, and all those guys are 5th, 6th-year guys, so they're older guys. And the thing that is impressive about them, they're physical. They're athletic. They can run to the ball. An odd front, we haven't really gone against an odd front the first, 4-week season. Northern Iowa played odd. They jumped out of the odd against us and went to a 4 down. So for us, it's a great challenge of just being able to make those adjustments. We're in practice every day. Guess what? We see a 4 down every day. So we got to be able to make that adjustment. And when the game starts, we got to make that adjustment real quick and make sure that we're able to protect their quarterback and run block.
You just mentioned about their quarterback, Nick Baker.
Mm-hmm.
How would you compare him to Theo Day and the similarities?
Probably 0 similarities. 0. And they're both great quarterbacks. Each quarterback has their own DNA. Theo Day can make every throw. Nick Baker can make every throw, but it's almost like the unorthodox, like the Mahomes. He can do 3 turns in the pocket, get out of the pocket, throw it sidearm, throw it underarm. He could probably throw it with his left arm if he wanted to make sure that he's completing passes. We've seen him for a long time now, and he's a great competitor. It's amazing. You look, I said stature, I looked him right in the eye. I felt pretty tall. So it gives us short guys hope. But again, he is such a competitor, and I think he's a great quarterback. He can break records this weekend for SIU, so I have a lot of respect for what he does, and you got to play 60 minutes with him in the game, 60 minutes, and you got to get after him.
But last year, it appeared that you frustrated him. I don't know if it was coverages or just pressure.
Mm-hmm.
Is that? I know you look at that film and everything to take. Is that something that you?
Yeah. I don't know for you remember that wind wasn't there's a lot of weather factors last November 18th and 2 teams fighting to get a win, and I watched that. We weren't very good. I watched 3 quarters and I thought it was god awful in our execution and our run blocking and our passing. Fortunately for us, we made some plays there in the 4th quarter. We had Bryce Oliver and Jaleel McLaughlin and Mitch Davidson that got us back in the game. But, to me, I didn't see any frustration on his part, So for me, it was just one of those type of games where it's game 11. You're fighting. Every team wants to win. You're pushing maybe a little harder than you usually would push. But for me, I've seen enough on his film to know he don't get rattled too often.
Coach, you made mention about the odd front that Southern Illinois brings to the table. How difficult is it for the scouting team to emulate that during this week in practice?
It is. You got to spend a little extra time coaching them and teaching them. And, they've played, every team they've played has been an odd. So, we don't get to see too much of them against an even front, which we play. And so they're going against odd every day. So that's just football. And you got to be able to make those adjustments. That's why we have scout team. And, we try to do as much as we can, ones on ones, twos on twos, because that's really where you get sharp, for the game. So, we're making those adjustments and, with a card and teaching our guys, the 3 down, the stack, and the coverages that they play behind it. So, that's always a challenge, but I think week in and week out, seeing what different teams do, you got to prepare, but again, I don't put too much in that. It's still about us and what we do, and can we clean up the things we need to clean up to be able to be successful when we get to Saturday in a Missouri Valley Football Conference game.
Alex Howard is kind of leading the team in tackles, TFLs, and sacks so far this year. How have you kind of seen him take a step forward this year compared to last?
Last year I knew it. The last 3 games of the year, probably the last game, against Southern Illinois, you kind of knew the light came on for him. He'll be the first one to say he battled a little, injuries here or there that didn't give him a chance to compete during camp and didn't have those things. But when he got on the field, you knew that he was going to be a special talent. And then seeing him through spring ball, seeing what he's done in the weight room, seeing what he's done the first 4 games, but we kind of knew when the light would come on that he could be a special player. It was just some kids have a different journey, and it took him a little bit longer than some to maybe get on the field. But when he got on the field, he made it a blast.
You touched on Bryce, blocking the front, just to have him in that position. I mean, what's that say about him, and what's it say about his leadership?
I say, it's about that brotherhood in that locker room, that kids go beyond what they just do on offense and defense. That, if you're on a special team, and, I've been proud of our special team effort. We had to go down to Northern Iowa when we had to be superior special teams, and I thought we were, in our punt coverage and our protections and our field goals. And, we had a couple breakdowns on the kickoff that we need to clean up, but our punt block unit, we play with starters, Alex Howard's on our punt team. Greg Benton runs down every kickoff. So for us to see those guys buy in, that third of the football game is important, and to see a guy like Bryce make that play, that just shows the younger kids, hey, that guy had over 100 yards catching, had touchdown passes, but guess what? He still went out there on 4th down on a punt block and was able to get a hand on it.
How impressed are you with Mitch? It seems like he's getting better week by week.
He is. He's seeing the field really good, and he'll be the first to tell you. When we go speed on speed here, I can't tell you the last time we had a successful 2-minute drive against our defense, or we do 3rd down against our defense. Mitch is like, man, it's coming at us fast. But when he gets to games, he's able to see that. Where maybe when you're going against a scout team, it's a little bit slower, because they're reading a card. So for me, it's what you do in practice, and to see him develop on the practice field and start executing on the practice field. Again, practice execution becomes game reality. So when I see it there on a Tuesday, I know that we can do it on a Saturday.
He came out twice on Saturday and came right back in there. He's good though, right?
He's really good. Yes. He just, he took, it's a little different surface, a little different shoes that you wear. And I think, he twisted his own, foot or whatever in the shoe that he was wearing. But the other time he just lost his breath, got hit in the stomach. So yeah, but but that's, in this league, you better have 2 quarterbacks ready, because it gets very physical in those football games, and you're going to take some shots.
What does it say about this league when South Dakota goes into the Fargo Dome and upsets North Dakota State?
Every week, if you're not ready to play, anybody on any given day can beat you. And that's when you guys talk about teams. Yeah, every team. Every week I'm going to get up on the board and say, we're playing a ranked team, boom, boom. It don't matter who we're playing. It could be a team. Western Illinois didn't have 1 win last year, and it took us the full 60 minutes to be able to win that game on the road. So I think it speaks volumes for the league we play in. The teams are very evenly on both sides, and the teams that maybe have a little more depth, or have been through the fire a little bit longer, and the consistency with coaching, those programs right now are the ones that are on top, and, holding strong. But to be able to see a South Dakota go in and win in the Fargo Dome, after not, last year, I'm sure they were disappointed in their season last year. So to see them just rise up, I think it speaks volumes of our league. And, we're proud of it, but it just shows you got to be ready to play each and every week.
Look, it's conference game number 2, but is there a sense of urgency?
We talk every week, pressure. Pressure, it's a privilege to feel pressure. And what I mean by that is, pressure comes from expectations. So no matter if you're playing Valpo, Robert Morris, to Ohio State, to Northern, there's a pressure to be able to compete, be able to execute, be able to do the things that we coach, because there's a certain expectation. So for us, I think it's a pressure cooker every Saturday we take the field. And our kids got to feel that on Tuesday practice, Wednesday practice, Thursday practice, Friday practice, and you got to learn to thrive in that pressure. And that's part of it.
2 former guys scored touchdowns, Ogletree and Jalil.
Oh, I mean, you're always proud of that, and to know that they're carrying the flag of Youngstown State, I think is tremendous. And Jalil, I guess, had a lot of touches. We don't get to watch it. I didn't get to see it, but we're proud of Andrew, proud of Jalil, and it gives those guys in that locker room, hey, if those two can do it, we can.